You are now listening to Broken Line Podcast, presented by Fish Addictions TV. Ice Strong Titanium Spring Bobber, Eskimo Ice Fishing Gear, 13 Fishing, Striker Ice, Coles Resort of Bemidji, Minnesota, Aaron Eichhorst Photography.
It does look a bit octopusy here. We got.
Yeah, I don't know why Patrick's so far back.
We have like.
I feel like you should just join in, and it's like, let's just do the everyday downtown bar chat down the line.
Well, that's kind of what this whole thing is. This podcast, what, number 35?
I don't even know. But he's got like a Lund seat, and you got like a straight out of Bemidji downtown bar.
I actually found that in a pole barn. I found a couple bar stools, and I stole them because I knew I wanted to do this. My good friend Crash Mullins, who passed away a couple years ago now, but his store down in Kentucky gave me this idea. He had the coolest seats I've ever seen. You sat behind his till.
What about
at his store.
The arm?
That one's
pieces.
Way too big for this.
Yeah, that would get awkward.
Yeah, no, Crash had custom colored Ranger boat ones, and I was like, that is the coolest seats I've ever seen at a store ever.
Liar's Lounge. Those would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I got some bar stools from the OP. I got to go pick them up. This is exactly what I'm going to do. I got some Crestliner seats.
Yes. No, it's the most comfy way ever to do anything.
So take a bar stool and turn it into a fishing seat and call it a day.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
They're awesome.
how about we do an official introduction of this podcast?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
I forgot that we're rolling already.
Yeah. So we're with Aaron Templin, and we're at Destination Sporting Goods, and this is our first
mobile
on location podcast. So we got wires going across the bar, GoPros set up, and we're just
probably doesn't look as official as your normal home.
No, that's the
but
thing. It's
whatever. We're here.
Well, we can always do round 2 at the studio.
Yeah,
Hilltop Studio.
I'm sure I'll be on.
Yeah.
Usually ridiculous, so this could go south.
Yeah, I'm gonna let everyone.
We might have to redo one.
I'm gonna let everyone know right now. We've known Aaron for quite some time, and I will say I think this is gonna be a borderline podcast from bad to good. So we're just gonna
bad in a bad way.
No, not bad in a bad way. Just like hold on to your seats. Aaron Templin's in the building.
Yeah, I got a different brain. I think my brain runs differently than normal people's brains.
No promises, but we're going to try to keep PG-13 going.
Yeah. I'm going to try hard.
What are you looking at, man?
I'm just looking at the meters. Just, we're getting excited over here. Aaron Templin's getting fired up. He's already breaking some of the things, but it's perfectly good. Yeah, so we're going to try and say PG-13, but Templin's in the building, and let's just start out with who is Aaron Templin? Like, who are you, and why are you so crazy?
I don't know. I'm just your regular, everyday fishing dude from northern Minnesota that this is all I've ever wanted to do is be a crazy fishing guy. So I've been working at this since I was in high school, really. Fishing was my life ever since I was a little kid, got dropped off doing fishing stuff, and now here I am going to be turning 30 years old. Been doing it a long time, I guess. And everybody knows me as that crazy kid that just fishes all the time. And now here we are in Destination. They let me manage this place, which is crazy.
And now Destination just officially opened, what, Thanksgiving weekend last year?
Thanksgiving, yeah. We worked on it for a long time. I was actually going to leave this area and go do even more crazy fishing stuff, and had an opportunity to jump on this project, and I never looked back. I don't know. We started with notebook papers and drawing up what I wanted to see for Bemidji in the area, pro shop wise, and ta-da, we're here. I mean, we just had 6 months into business like 2 days ago, I think, 3 days ago.
Boom.
So yeah, it's been fun.
And we talked about Tabor's Bait in a podcast, and how we eventually started talking about, Destination Sports is opening up, and it got around town that it was a bait shop. And you want to clear this up, that it is not a bait shop.
We are totally not a bait shop. You can tell by our hours. Everybody always gets mad at me because we open
that
up
is,
at
I
9.
do remember that. People are saying
people are
that.
so angry at my hours.
I
but
do remember
every
that.
pro shop I have ever been to, all my favorite places, I've obviously traveled the country fishing and do crazy fishing trips. Every memorable pro shop I've ever been to, like in my short career now, I mean, I've been in it for 10, 11 years now, but Man, I don't know. They're all open up at like 9 o'clock, and they have the best stuff.
I mean,
like every pro shop, it's top tier stuff, hard to find stuff. Bait shops, to me, I mean, I love bait shops. I grew up working in bait shops and being in bait shops, but that wasn't what we wanted to build here. We wanted that pro shop specialty, the knowledge, you know.
And I personally
don't mind going fishing in the morning either, and then showing up to work.
Right.
I do remember, you know, people being like, why are they opening up so late? How are you supposed to go fishing in the morning, 6 in the morning when they're closed? And I mean, it spread around town that it was going to be a bait shop.
Yeah.
And we even talked about it kind of on the podcast, you know, being a bait shop. But now...
Well, I think at that time, though, after Tabor's had closed, there was no place to get bait in town except for Senex.
Yeah, some gas stations.
South of town.
Yeah,
that was it.
L&M and Senex. And
Did L&M have their minnow tanks?
L&M put it... No, I bet you they didn't, because
No.
they put them in like a month before we opened.
Yeah, they
Right.
did very... Yeah,
I think
around
they
that.
got minnows like the same week we opened.
Right.
And we put this thing together in like crazy record time.
Right.
I remember when I was cutting orders for tackle and flying by the seat of our pants, putting this thing together to open up for the town. And it was in like 30 days we had put this place together, got all the product in.
Yeah.
There were minnows swimming in the tanks. Like we had just barely got the tanks conditioned in time. And we had our doors open one night working, and we're like, well, grand open, when are we going to open, etc. And guys were busting through the door with money in their hand saying, sell me minnows, and I need this ice fishing lure. And I was like, holy smokes, we're not ready.
Leave the
But
doors locked.
welcome to Bemidji, this crazy fishing town with crazy people in it.
I know.
I'm one of them.
I had to move right back.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, my life changed. The decision wasn't even a decision. It's
This
like
is one of those
moving
towns
back.
you can throw a penny, and you'll hit someone in the fishing industry or the outdoor industry.
Yeah, and
I
a
mean,
good one. Like a good one.
Yeah. This is
Skip a
true.
penny down the street, and it's like, oh my gosh, that guy does it for a living.
Yeah, I just hit a
That guy,
pro.
that guy could be a legend someday. And it's just a regular dude strutting down the street with a fishing rod.
There is a lot of really top-notch anglers in this town that just are under the radar.
Oh,
They don't want the...
Yeah.
This town
The glitz.
spits out talent like... I tell people that all the time. When I'm on the road or I meet new people, because I'm obviously chatty, I talk with all sorts of people all the time. But this town produces more talent than anything I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
unreal.
This town alone, off the top of my head, in my generation, put out 4 outdoor photographer and videographers in the specific
That was in,
fishing
like,
and
3
out-
years.
Yeah, I mean,
And boom, boom, boom,
working
boom.
for national television shows, it's stupid.
Not including tackle reps, show talent. I mean, fishing guides that travel around, go elsewhere. You get college kids that go to BSU, and next thing you know, like, I run into them by like Green Bay or Devil's Lake, or
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, oh yeah, I know, I went to BSU. What do you do now? Well, I fish for a living, man. I'm a guide on this body of water back home. Okay, yeah.
That kind of throws it into that, talking a little bit about the NWT, because when we were out there was 3 to 4 Bemidji people.
Oh yeah.
And you're like in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
You were there, of course, and we'll get into that in a second. And then there was like a Coangler that was from
Oh, yeah.
Bemidji, and they're like, Bemidji, Minnesota. I'm like, what?
It's
you
just,
know?
it's crazy.
Like, what the
This is
heck?
a fishing town. I
Yeah.
mean, to the bone, hardcore.
Big time.
But
And,
yeah,
and
I
there's
don't know.
so much, and even the people that come through the town, you know, like the gate, we call it the gateway to the outdoors. I mean,
Yeah.
all the people that come up. I mean, you got Dave Gens coming through town. Like you got all these,
Oh, yeah.
all these big time people
Well,
going.
We'll put it this way: you were around my college house when
Oh,
I
yeah.
was there, and you had big name dudes sleeping on the couch of this college house.
I remember the lures hanging up on the walls.
and we were just kids that fished, man. But you had
Yeah.
big name dudes
Had big
filming
time-
TV shows and everything else
Yeah.
out of this mini little pink and white house
house.
with a white picket fence around it.
Right
And
across
we would
from the
have like
school.
4 Ranger boats lined up side by side by side. My landlord would come over and just scratch his head like, are you going to pay rent this month? Because you've like $500,000 worth of trucks and boats out in the yard. And we're like, maybe, I don't know, minnow money. We got to do something.
I do remember the amount of people sleeping on not only the couches but the floors. and you'd have to step over people just to get to the
and
bathroom.
the fishing gear, and it was a mess, man.
It sounds amazing.
It was weird. Yeah,
I mean, you had a very professional, or what's the guide that did the musky guiding up here?
Oh yeah,
basically living on the couch.
He was on the couch. Jake was in the couch. We were
crazy.
putting. Oh man,
I remember sleeping in the chair. I got the
you
chair.
had Joe Anderson come through with
Joe
Jason
Anderson.
Mitchell. Jason Mitchell's plugging camera equipment in, everything else in this tiny little college house. We had Lee Tauken with Big Fish 365 at the time, hanging out on the couch. I mean, it was all sorts, and then people would just come through, like pick us up and go fishing. We'd run around.
It's almost like you needed a signing wall or something.
We should have.
The greats.
I didn't even think about it, but yeah, there was a lot of talent that came through there, which was super weird for a little mini. And it was like me and my best friend Steve, and us just hanging out, and we were just fish bums, man. It was a fish bum house.
We used to go duck hunting and all that good stuff as well. I remember on your grill we did like the jalapeno goose. Wrapped in bacon, because anything's good in bacon.
Everything.
That was an awesome time. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's all right. I mean, when you were talking about the house with $500,000 worth of boats sitting out front, I mean, I see that. I'm one of those guys. My boat costs 3 times as much as my vehicle.
Oh yeah,
and that's what's important to me.
I'm that way. Yeah, I'll sleep in my truck if I have to.
There's a house out by Chop House that it's an old. Single wide trailer, just looks beat up, looks terrible, in most cases. Not nice to say, but it doesn't look good. And then out in front of it is like this brand new Ranger. And it's like priorities. His priorities were straight,
I'm guilty.
Super guilty. Fishing. That's all I care about.
I come rolling in here, a week? Bought a few $100s worth of reels.
Oh, yeah.
I've been living off Little Caesars, man.
Right, dude.
Because I got to have those reels.
I do it. I don't know. When I go on tour, you should see what I'm the biggest penny pincher.
How many rods did you have with you?
I think I brought in total when I went
for
to
that
Wisconsin
first tournament.
there.
Yeah, you were telling me.
God, I don't remember what the exact number
50
was. Yeah, it was
combos?
right around 50. I brought 50 rods and reels with me out to my first NWT event.
Just in case he breaks them.
Well, I did break one too. But no, I just didn't know what to expect. I had never been to that system before, so I just started grabbing stuff out of my garage, and I left stuff behind that I didn't have room for it. I was like, oh my God, I already got 50 rods in my truck. And I remember my dad was helping me pack my stuff up. He always comes over and kind of gives me like a pep talk before I leave. And he goes, do you really need this many rods? And I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, I'm taking everything.
And people need to actually realize what a person of your fishing ability has truck-wise. Like, I mean, your whole back. Do you have a topper on yours?
No, I'm one of the weirdos. I don't. But I'm putting a topper on now after I went to the NWT, and you'll fill it full.
Everyone's got the toppers, and they just fill it. We were traveling with Cardenas, Robert Cardenas, and his back hatch thing folds up into a camper. So if he needs it, if he doesn't have nowhere to sleep, he can sleep right out of his truck.
Silverado Suites, man.
And that's some dedication right there.
I've been there, done it, trying to steal power off the Walmart power poles.
I think it was a couple
Silverado Suites. So sometimes when you're just out on a fishing bender, fish bum.
I know what you guys are talking about. I think it was a couple years ago. I saw a video of Kevin Van Dam.
Wow.
And he opened up the back of that Toyota. There's like one little spot for clothes. The rest of it, he's pulling out drawers.
It's just
drawers of crankbaits and spinner
unreal.
baits.
It's a different world.
I'm not gonna lie. I've seen multiple professional fishermen juicing off a Walmart pole. I mean, in a sense, like I've seen them
juice wherever you
camping.
need it, man. If you
yeah.
I've seen them camping.
Dude, I
out
have
in there
enough
too.
juice in my batteries for like an 8-hour day. Let's just plug in quick and take a nap, and then I'll have enough for tomorrow.
Need a full juicer before we go. What was it? What was it like being able to go to the NWT? Our last podcast, we talked a little bit about the NWT because I just got back from it at that time.
Yeah, it's my first year as a pro. So boater. I don't consider myself a pro until I'm like there.
Until you're making the moolah from the pro terms.
Sure. Whatever pro term that would be, I guess I'm
making money
on a
as
boater
a
side.
professional.
It's I don't know. I was extremely nervous, but I think it's good. Like I've been asked that question a bunch. Like, what was it like jumping up to there? And I mean, for me, it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Like comfort wise, because I've done television shows and been around the guys so long, I've been a fish bum so long that, I mean, I was more nervous about how I was going to make my decisions and pick apart the water than I was on a social. And I mean, sometimes I feel like
from a Coangler side, were you nervous about what Coangler you got, knowing that you used to be in that position?
No, I've guided for so long that I was ready for anything, man. The guy could have took a nap in the front of the boat, and I was just still going to grind. I don't know. I was ready.
That's all you have to do is
I mentally prepared myself. It was unlike, like, I went... Well, you remember I did the professional musky tour, and my first one down there, I was with my good friend Joe Anderson. We went down to Kentucky, and I remember being sick to my stomach with nerves, like lining up against all these musky guys that I've watched forever, and I was ready to like throw up. And I remember we were pulling through the line, and if you've ever seen a tournament, everybody goes through the line and then out into the lake, and we were all lined up, and I'm going to get my paddle, and I was like gagging over the side of the boat, like super nervous.
Wow,
like,
really?
Oh, you know, these are my idols, you know, like these are the people. And then, so I thought about it on my way. Like, I drove to Wisconsin middle of the night by myself, you know, did most of practice by myself. And I remember being like, is that feeling going to come back? Am I going to be that guy that, but no, I already made a rookie mistake, like first hour of the tournament, and got that out of the way, so that was fine.
What was that?
I threw the head of my net. So there's two buttons. There's two buttons on the net, right? And then I was going to extend it, and there's a nice fish out there fighting. So
that'd be so funny.
It's like it's embarrassing, but I'm over it now. But I got the fish. I have two nets, so it wasn't as horrible. But I definitely punched the wrong button and sent the head of the net flying out into the lake. This is first NWT.
Is it like a nice, expensive one like you got here?
Yeah. I definitely yard sailed that thing out into Lake Winnebago. Oh, I did. Went flying, and my co-angler, his eyes were huge, looking at me like, oh,
he's like, this is a pro.
Who is this guy? And I grabbed the other net, and I net the fish, and I looked at I was like, that has never happened before.
Never had that happen.
In all my years of guiding everything else, I've never thrown a net in the lake. I like rods and stuff like that. I've got tons of funny stories about like throwing rods in the lake, but never in the heat of the moment, professional walleye tour, do you throw your net in the lake. It was like first fish. Right. I just yard sailed that thing.
Started out right.
So was it muskies that got you? Was that the species that got you into the whole tournament?
No, I think it was like my...
Was it local walleye clubs or...
No, I was a fish bum forever. What got me into tournaments is I'm kind of a mild competition style person. Through my high school wrestling and football and sports. I mean, me and Toby Kavalva used to talk about it all the time. It's the competitive itch that just needs to be scratched. You challenge I use it as a tool to challenge myself as an angler.
Right.
It's not so much the look at me, I can beat this person and that person. It's personal challenges that make me a tournament angler. I don't know.
I can see that.
I just like to stretch out a little bit.
Gotcha.
Put my name in the hat, and can I catch him here? You know, can I advance myself as a fisherman?
That's kind of like him with you want to do those line class records and that stuff. You're basically in the tournament to do better of yourself.
Personal challenges.
Yeah,
I think big time.
I think it's important for every angler to do something to challenge yourself.
Oh, I've done so much advancement since I started tournament angling, like as a walleye angler, especially because I started on the musky side. And muskies, I don't want to say it's super one-dimensional, but it is. I mean, muskies become super predictable, and once you dig really, really deep into musky wants to sit on the best structure with the best food. And like once you start put the recipe together and you get deep enough, walleyes are that way to an extent, but not really. There's so much more in walleye that was the big attraction for me to switch and be like, I'm going to go walleye fishing.
So when are you going to start doing bass tournaments? Because I know we talked about that.
Right.
We talked about that.
I'm a bass.
I love bass fishing.
I love the idea of bass. For me, fishing them. Once I figure walleyes out, which might never happen, I might die long before that ever happens.
But I remember a key phrase you said was like, walleyes, you find one, you're going to find the rest of them. Bass fishing's not like that.
Bass fishing is totally not like that. Yeah, we had that chat. They're so spread out, and it's such a
They're not a
diverse
schooling
little
fish.
And
Yeah.
being from northern Minnesota, we don't appreciate bass, and we had that chat. That I've had the fortune of growing up down by the metro and fishing Minnetonka and Waconia and all over the place, and been down to Kentucky and seen different fisheries. That I love when people, we had this chat the other day, I love when people are like, oh, well, I fish walleye and bass is for the easy, not good fishermen. And I'm like, you head out of Minnesota sometime and go fish bass, because you will get your butt kicked out there. There's bass guys that will just destroy you.
Yeah.
You'll feel like a little boy on the dock all over again. And maybe that's good for you, because I've done that in the walleye world where I've just got shredded. And I sat back for like a week thinking, what happened out there? Like,
Well, I mean, bass fishing's bigger than walleye fishing. So,
Massive.
I mean, you take the consideration that.
And the different forms you can do in bass.
Yeah.
Bass is a sneaky good little fish.
Well, I've watched tournaments
I love bass
where
fishing.
guys will bring in a 25-pound sack and they caught them in 5 feet of water, but the winning sack will come out at 30 feet of water.
Yeah.
You know, like, why?
It's really, I mean, if you
nuts.
think about it as a whole, bass and walleye aren't that different.
Oh.
And why
Tell
are
us why.
Well, yeah, why are the people, I don't know, I've never seen such a rip in Minnesota between the bass and walleye guys. Like, they kind of get into each other's skin and pick away at each other a little bit,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why?
Because there's
That
always got
fish
to be
is-
people like
That
that.
fish is super tournament fished also, bass and walleye. And for skill set wise, bass is extremely challenging, actually.
There's so many
To
different
get the
techniques.
big ones, everybody thinks they catch a 5-pounder, but is it really a 5-pounder? You know? Right, that's the reaction
Nope.
I'm looking for. It's
Nope.
not. Have you ever weighed bass? Because I've been out there like, man, I caught like 25-pounders today. And then you'll weigh one and you're like, that's actually 2 1/4.
Yep.
I'm not very smart.
That was kind of like us last year when we were bass fishing out on Turtle.
Yeah.
The same thing. You know, we were sitting there weighing one. We're like, oh, that's gotta be.
Got to be a fiver. It's got to be a fiver.
for
I'll
sure.
put 5 on it.
And then you weigh and you're like 2.5. You're like, oh, we got.
That's the way it shows up too. Yeah.
And
Oh
then you
yeah.
just
And
gotta
up here
blow it
too,
off.
just I mean, I've weighed 20-inch largemouth that were 3 1/4. I've weighed 20-inch largemouth that are 5.5.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're all built a little bit different.
They're so different. And
Yeah.
guys don't understand it, and that goes with the whole travel out of Minnesota and go see what it's
Go see
really
what
like.
fishing
Well,
is
and
outside
bass
of
fishing.
it.
Yes, I used to think I lived in the walleye mecca. Bemidji's super sweet. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
man, I've fished some awesome fisheries outside of Bemidji where I'm like, what do I don't want to go home
yeah,
to that
you-
dumpster.
Well, you go, Lake Erie. You go up into
Oh, yeah.
Canada.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
there's
There's
bigger
so much
fish out
opportunity.
there.
Oh, there's giants out there.
I mean, come here and you catch a 16.
Going
and a
back
half,
to
you know.
challenging ourselves, we got a little something going on for this
yeah.
winter, don't we, bud?
Oh yeah, I'm pumped about that. We had a whole discussion the other day about doing sheephead through the ice,
We're gonna try to
and
figure
we
it
were
out.
talking about absolutely laying. It's gonna torch a reel. I
You
need to
weren't
pick
kidding.
out
You're
the
gonna have to
best
like sit there
reel.
with a cup of water and dump it on the reel.
Those things lay smoke, man. you hook a sheep. For all the
They're
sheep
big.
haters out there, those things lay smoke. And it's to catch one through the ice.
I mean, you're gonna hate it in tournament fishing, but normal fishing,
Totally
it's
get
a
it. They
huge
sink
fish.
boards and it's a total mess. And
Yeah.
I've been
Oh, yeah.
there, done that rodeo. But
That's a fun little
them
deal.
things
I'd like to
fight
see.
hard. And I mean, look
But
at
how
the
big
blue,
of-
look at the bluegill attraction through the ice. It's a wide profile,
Yeah.
heavy fighting fish. Now you add
just a giant
15
there.
pounds to that.
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah.
You're not even able to get it through an
Well,
8-inch hole.
we were talking about it, and well, it's gonna have to be a couple
Spear
of 10
hole?
inch, inches holes.
You're gonna have to do something.
Probably clover leaf, 10-inch clover leaf. Boom, boom, boom. But the
if
hardest
they-
part is going to be trying to figure out where to find these things.
If they actually winter where Eric, our friend Eric, thinks they winter, we'll never be able to catch them.
Oh, in
And
this,
you can
in
go
this
ahead and
secret
tell
lair
where he
on.
thinks where he thinks the sheephead go in the wintertime.
Secret layer.
There's a secret door underneath the island on this specific lake.
Yeah, I know. Like
Yeah, in the fall they just one sheep
He
head
thinks
comes up
that-
and
he
opens
thinks
the door,
it's like this. Oh yeah,
and they
like
all go
you're-
in there.
Oh, like the doors to Narnia. And
Yeah.
there's all these sheephead underneath here living.
Next thing you know, they're in Florida or something. They go through a teleport.
But it is weird. I've talked to a lot of guys up there that that spear, that angle.
I mean, have you ever seen any get caught through the ice?
I have, but not out of that lake. Out of Upper Red.
I never
They'll catch
have.
some little ones every once in a while.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the lake we're talking about, like
Nope.
giants.
I have never
Nope.
ever seen one caught through the ice.
That'd be
And I've been
interesting.
around a while. And I've
You're gonna have to have a trout route or something, a little trout.
We already discussed that. It's gonna be.
The gear is set. It's all figured out.
They're gonna lay smoke. If we can catch one,
We need to film this.
if we can catch one, I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna freak out.
Just
You'll
end the
probably
video right
pick
there.
me up
I
again.
will.
You'll pick
I'll-
me up again, won't you?
Oh yeah.
That's the first time I met him. We were at the Keg and Cork downtown. I was having a few beers, and all of a sudden, hey, Patrick! And he just, these arms come around me and picks me up, sets me down. I turn around, I'm like, I think that's the first time I've ever been picked up.
Well, have you ever seen? I know your answer is a yes, but for the people out there that are listening, if they don't have an actual image of what you look like, you're tall, you're a big boy,
Squatch.
I'm a large man.
and then you throw you throw like
Lower my voice on
you-
that.
you-
I am a large man.
you throw yourself in a downtown during school season,
Yeah.
college season, 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m., somewhere in there,
I don't even remember,
drinking.
I don't even remember what I was out for. I was celebrating something when I ran into Patrick because I was full.
Probably nightfall.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember what it was, but I was full, and then
I was
like,
full.
I'm picking this guy up.
There's people that have literally, seen you, drinking, and they know because you're a different person. You know,
Right.
in my mind, I think
Right.
you're Aaron Templin on the next level when you're drinking at 12, 1 o'clock at the bar.
You're
I'm
very
loud.
hands-on.
Yeah, I'm
Very
loud, boisterous.
Yeah, so you're the tallest dude at the bar and you're the loudest dude at the bar, and you've had a couple drinks in your system. It turns out to be a good time for sure, and
Yeah,
you
it's
just
not
got picked
horrible.
up.
I got picked up.
Yeah,
So I
definitely-
got picked
remember
up
it.
by
I think I
Aaron
picked him
Templin.
up.
I don't remember
Clean
the
out
first
there.
time we met. I mean, it was like 8-10 years ago, somewhere.
Probably
It was-
Morningstorm, wasn't it?
It had to have been with Jake. I can't imagine, but yeah, I remember we did go duck hunting.
I think I was
On
still,
goose
I think I
hunting
was
on
still
the
musky
pond.
fishing at that time.
Oh yeah, no, you for sure were. Yeah, it's been this year has been. I feel like we're hitting record highs. It's like 95 degrees. It's like what is it?
Every
Like
day.
80 degrees right
Today
now.
was 90 all day. I fished, and it was horrible.
That's gross.
What's your favorite time of the season to fish, and what's your favorite fish to catch? Knowing that you were musky, you're kind of moving around, but I don't know the exact answer.
Oh man,
Oh, I know what he hates.
There's quite a few things that I totally hate in angling. But no, my favorite fish. I don't know, the fall time.
Fall's my favorite too.
If they cooperate, fall can also be like a super pain in the butt.
And what's
walleyes? I mean,
Walleyes.
I love walleye fishing, man. That's got my heart right now hard. Used to be muskies. I used to wake up every day and grind them.
So tell me about musky guys then. If you used to be a musky guy, tell me a little bit about the musky.
They're different. Patrick's already.
Yeah.
We've been down this road.
Yeah, we
Musky
went
guys
deep
are
down this
some
road.
of the craziest people you will ever meet in your entire life.
I work with one,
Yeah, they're nutso.
and they all live together in the same house.
I was one.
They-
Trust me. I'm the first one that can say musky guys are nutso and not probably have pitchforks sprinting down the street right now because we're also a musky shop, and they'll be like, "No, you turned on us." But I didn't turn on you. I'm just saying you guys are crazy, and
You get
I
enough-
was one. I was super crazy too. You wake up, you chase a fish that is 100% acceptable not to catch. Like, if you don't catch it that day, and people are still like, "Yeah, dude, it's the grind."
And then they're there till 2 in the morning.
Yeah, it's
the grind.
It's
They
as
go
a-
back. They don't shower.
as
They just get-
as a walleye guy. Like, you have to catch fish.
Yeah.
Like, because then you.
I like what you were telling me that one day. Like, walk in, you're musky. How'd you do? I saw two, man. You're good.
Yeah,
You're good, man. You're
dude,
on them.
'em.
You're on them. You keep that going, man. You keep it going. You just saw two. That's it.
That's the whole thing about the craziness.
the
of
elusive
muskie.
musky grind.
It's the only fish that you can like hunt for a month and a half, and
Maybe get one.
if you get one, people are like, "Dude, you're on them." and to me, that's a wild concept, and I lived it.
But you did it, yeah.
And yeah, I caught quite a few of them, and I got pretty darn good at it. But at the same time, I feel like I just went crazier and crazier down the. It's a rabbit hole.
Well, I'm gonna
Yeah, I can
at
see
work
that.
right now. He came in on a couple of Tackle Tuesdays. He bought
Yep.
that Tranks.
Yep.
He's just getting into it. So
yeah.
I'm gonna like just stand back off to the
Watch.
side and watch the spiral.
Watch the rabbit hole.
Just
yeah.
Jake, you want to go fish crappies? Nope.
I warn guys about it.
Yeah. You want to go?
Because I did it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're like sleeping in your truck, plugging into Walmart power poles, and chasing fish in every lake that they swim.
Grinding. haven't showered in days.
It's like fly. If you've ever watched fly fishing bums, like, you know what I mean? The fly bums that pride themselves on, which is super cool. Like, I'm into it. That's cool stuff. But musky guys are that also. Like, they're such a different breed of people.
On different stuff. True. Like, trout guys are hooked on, say, a fine scotch. Mm-hmm. The musky guys are like acid, meth, and all kinds of
drinking moonshine in the middle of the night.
Not saying that they do that, but it's just that
while they cast.
Yeah, they're
a fly guys like I'm gonna catch.
Yeah, they're meticulous.
I'm gonna catch this, but musky guys are like, I just want to see one. That's it, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Just want to see one, and then I'm on them. Man.
And then when they see it, they're like, "That's where she lives."
Yep.
Now I'm going to figure out her daily movements.
Their fish have names.
There's John.
It's one of the it's the old catfish hunter thing, like from Grumpy Old Men.
But for real,
how crazy they get.
Yeah.
Grumpy Old Men is one of my favorite movies, mind you. And I absolutely love every minute of the old catfish hunter and the whole concept behind all of that. Musky guys, it's like that with like 10 fish on the lake. And every single one of them's like 84 inches by the width of my boat. And
just giant.
It's the whole Moby Dick thing. Like it's the great white whale that swims across Lake Bemidji.
Now, while they're telling you this, you got to register your mind. These guys haven't left the water, and they do like 12, 14-hour shifts, blazing hot sun, no food, no sleep.
And they sit up in their garage with a hook file.
All night long.
Prep every hook in the box, just in case.
And if they could get their hands on 120-pound braid.
See the giant.
If that great white whale bites, I want a sharp enough hook that it's going to pierce its face all the way.
And then I'm on them.
It's a different breed. I lived it. I did it.
Yeah, and what's cool is they do get it. It's like 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Quick, pull it out, pick, boom, back in, and that's it. Done. You going to get a replica? Oh, hell no, I ain't got that kind of money. There's not a chance.
Dude, without a doubt.
No, I just got this 4x6 picture. That's it.
4x6, a 20
you'll know,
cent.
You'll know a hardcore musky guy. You walk into their house, and I'm not kidding you. Walk into a hardcore musky guy's house.
Is it full of beer?
Not very far from where you walk into the house, there will be frames of these muskies. And it's like such an accomplishment that you have to put it like close to the front door of the house.
Just so
that you can start talking about it immediately. Musky guys are going to listen to this and they're going to like look around, think I'm crazy, and then look towards the entryway of their house. And there's going to be musky frames of 50 inches and, big muskies.
They're going to add them.
And they're going to be like, God, he's right. He's totally right. He's got us pegged.
But then they're gonna walk over, point at it, and go, God.
I used to talk about
that was Jonathan right there.
I don't know if the camera can see the fish that's above me, but I have my first 50-incher I caught when I was 17 years old in the store. And I bet you I've told the story of that fish 4,000 times.
It's a big one.
Of like, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Should we make it 4001? Tell us what
we could.
Yeah,
I could.
we'll do it, man.
If we want to talk about it, that was. I don't know. It's kind of hard that they can't see it, but
if they can't see it, it's just even if they're listening, you have to build such a good picture
So it's a 52.5 by 25 from the early days of muskie. Back when to catch a 50-incher used to be like crazy, crazy special. And me, I was young, and I had the musky bug real bad. I used to sit up at night and watch Linder videos and not sleep and think about the great white whale that I want to catch. And I hadn't caught one, I'd caught 46s, 47s, 48, I'd caught some nice fish, but never that magical 50. And I woke my dad up that morning. And anybody that knows me, I don't fish with my dad a lot, which is just my dad's a crazy busy person and we don't get out much. But he's an old musky head, and we cast it all morning. I think we hit the water at 6. Didn't see one. Obviously, it's musky fishing. Like, it's tough. But I hadn't seen one. I hadn't seen one, and I had this custom double-bladed double 10s when the double 10 bucktail blades came out. And it was made with real skunk hair. It was a bucktail, inline bucktail, made with real skunk hair. The stuff was long. When you threw that bucktail in the water, it stunk so bad in the boat like because tulipy
skunk,
smell.
yeah.
Like
I can see
musky guys will do anything for a fish. You know, like, I don't care if this bucktail reeks like a skunk. I'm throwing it. They love it.
Even better.
You know. And I remember we pulled up to a spot, and I'll tell people the spot. I don't care. It's on Lake Bemidji up by the state park. It's the Trench. Everybody kind of knows about the Trench now if they're musky, and if they don't, shame on you. There's some big ones in there. It was the early days. Like, people were just finding out about these little nooks and crannies of weed beds. And I cast it out, and I was just complaining to my father about how we hadn't seen a fish. And I'd been on them. Like, that week, I was seeing, like, 4 or 5 a day. And I was like, you catch one here and there. And I'm like, today just sucks. You know, like, it sucks. And I'm complaining, and I did that quite often in my younger years. So, I whipped it out there, and I remember I got 3 cranks on the handle, and the white whale locked on. And I've never screamed so loud in my life for a net. This thing is still, mind you, like a 70-yard cast out there. Like, I sent a bomb
At least.
Oh,
At least 70.
maybe 120 yards, musky standards.
Sharp hook. Yeah.
So maybe like 35. But either way, it was out there.
right.
And I set the hook into this fish, and she's in about 2 feet of water. So her head comes up, and it's just massive head shakes. And in my mind, I'm, Moby Dick, I got her. The white whale, she's on the line.
You're ready for the photo.
I'm right. Get the camera. Don't even get the net. Get the damn camera.
This is going on the fridge.
So, I remember my dad, the fish fought its rear end off the whole way in. And my dad has the net in his hand, and he goes, "It's not going to fit." And I'm like, for sure.
Even better.
Dick, you know?
Even
my
better.
dad's caught a lot of big muskies and everything, and we had never seen one that big, you know?
For sure. It's
And
Moby
it's,
Dick.
oh, yeah, this thing's not fitting in the net. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's a state record. Like, this thing's a super giant. And ended up getting it in the net. It did fit, mind you. Just musky guys will know what I'm talking about.
We all do.
Go through
We
this,
all
'cause
do.
they're like, whatever's in your brain at that time, it's like you're fighting a great white shark. And for
Absolutely.
no reason. And the fight really lasts like 12 seconds when
When you thought it was
4
like an hour.
hours had gone by in your brain.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, I remember we measured it, and it was my biggest ever, and I had a mini heart attack over it when I let it go because I didn't know if I would ever see one. And this was early days of replicas. So
That's a good replica.
Do they have one with enough girth? Is it long enough for me to even get a replica of this thing? Because those weren't that common at that time. But we did, and I have it up there, and I pride and enjoyed that thing for a long time. And now it's in the Star,
That's awesome.
as I was a child.
Have you
So-
beat it?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Caught many bigger than that.
Many
now.
bigger.
Yep.
I think,
but I've never mounted another one. So that's going to be my one
Until
and only.
the next Moby Dick comes through.
Yeah,
The
no,
next
I
one.
man, I'll tell you what, I've caught some great big ones. A lot bigger than that. And I don't know if I ever want to mount one. That one I caught with my dad. And
That's a
it's
memory.
special to me. It's my first 50-incher. And to me, I don't know if anything else is going to replace that one. So in my mind, no.
It has the memories.
Yeah.
Memories attached to it.
I think that's a big part.
And I think now too, just talking with my buddies at work and stuff, that musky fish, and yeah, it's changed. I mean, the fisheries, it's got a lot bigger fish now. So, if you boat a 50, it's that's not bad. Like my buddy at work, he last summer he got a 56.5.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, yeah, there's some bigger ones out
I
there.
was just going to say, these
wow.
batteries look like they're going to end. So why don't we it'll be an exclusive continue only for audio.
Cool.
If we say goodbye to the video.
Yeah.
Bye, video, peace.
Bye. Now you all know I'm a giant human being, so it'll make sense on future stories.
Yeah.
Right.
All the extra we'll just have just for audio.
Thank you for listening to Broken Line Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.